So, herzlich willkommen wieder zurück zu eurem Foli von Folis Gamer aus zu einer neuen Folge Let's Play The Conceal. Episode 2, Part 1, Hide and Seek. Schön, dass ihr wieder mit dabei seid. Ihr findet es natürlich auf YouTube, Instagram, Facebook und Twitch unter demselben Namen Folis Gamer aus. Über ein Like, über einen Kommentar würde ich mir natürlich riesig freuen, über ein Abo noch umso mehr. Und ja, ich habe mich dazu entschlossen, ich habe aber bei der Episode 1 entschieden, dass ich es auf jeden Fall streamen werde. Bei mir in meinen Kanal mit aufnehmen werde. Ich werde auch des Weiteren mehr solche Episoden-Games spielen. Nur die halt eben mir so persönlich besser zusagen. Und bei Conceal war ich echt überrascht. Ich hatte am Anfang gedacht, ich weiß nicht, das so das Richtige für mich wäre, beziehungsweise ob ich da lange Interesse hatte. Aber doch, ich will doch wissen, wie es weitergeht. Das ist echt gut gemacht. Grafisch, also optisch, rein grafisch, sowie auch storylastisch, ist es sehr cool gemacht. Ein sehr schönes interaktives Spiel. Wer auf interaktive Spiele steht, kann ich nur empfehlen. Sehr gut gemacht, gerade auch von die Entscheidung, die man trifft, ob das natürlich immer die richtige ist, weiß ich auch natürlich auch nicht, aber es ist interessant, wie der Verlauf dann der Geschichte sich verändert und wohin der Weg sich dann führen wird. Ob man dann zu ans gleiche Ziel kommt, glaube ich nicht ganz. Also man kann sein, dass es auch abschweift. Aber mittlerweile haben wir ja so mehrere Spiele auf dem Markt, die so ähnlich sind, beziehungsweise die ähnlich halt eben mit solchen Entscheidungstreffungen spielen. Entscheidend treffenden Spielen, genau. Es sich handelt. Und kurze Rede, langer Sinn. Wir machen weiter. Nur das zählt. So, Spielstand erwähnen. Wo ist meine Mutter? So, wir machen ja hier weiter. Der spielen. Wir gehen in neue. Ich muss jetzt nur gerade bei dem Spielstand 1 muss ich doch, oder? Ja. Das sieht schon eher danach aus. Wo ist meine Mutter? Da war ich ein bisschen verrutscht. Okay. Ja. So sehen die Kapitelschnitte aus. Der nächste wäre dann die Konferenz. Der andere wäre der Lanzenstoß. Finale Nominierung. Aber wir machen hier weiter. Jetzt beim The Conceal Let's Play. Hier bevor die Schema aus. Episode 2, Part 1, Hide and Seek. Viel Spaß dabei.
How many times must I tell you? You must never put your life on the line for me.
Mother has always had a fascination for Lord Mortimer, but has never wanted to tell me why.
We are doing our utmost to find your mother as quickly as possible.
Without your mother, hundreds of men of the cloth would have gone to the guillotine.
All I can tell you is I'm looking for my sister.
So, auf jeden Fall mal ein kleiner
Do
Rückblick.
you believe your mother capable of torturing a child?
An agreement for cannons. Lord Mortimer assured me that you are to take over the project on behalf of your mother.
Johann Christoph von Wollner, Minister of Religious Affairs, and Jacques Peroux, French Revolutionary Tribunal Judge. You will find that Lord Mortimer is not what one would call conventional, Monsieur de Richet. Monsieur de Richet, I am arresting you for the murder of Elizabeth Adams.
Ja, das wird mal letztes Mal angeklagt.
At last we meet, Monsieur de Richet.
Do you mind if I call you Louis?
Please do.
Thank you.
The
I wish to
Conceal.
apologize wholeheartedly
Episode 2, Hide
for
und
you
Seek.
crossed the seas, and I wasn't even here to welcome you. When I asked you to join us here, it was, of course, in the hope that you would help us find your mother. But an act of horrific violence occurred during the night, and I do not know if this is linked to the disappearance of Sarah.
Ich weiß nicht, ob sie dies etwas mit Sarah verschwunden zu tun hat. Eine Verbindung zu meiner Mutter? Ja.
What are you getting at? What act of violence?
We found Elizabeth Adams' body in her room. She was brutally murdered, stabbed several times. I'll get straight to the point, Louis. According to the initial elements at my disposal, you were the last person to see her alive.
Yes, last night we, Do you suspect me?
I want you to tell me everything that happened last night and leave nothing out. Tell me, how did the evening begin?
Duchess Hillsborough and I were returning to our rooms when Elizabeth came up to us. She was in a state of panic and insisted that she needed to speak to me. She said she feared for her life. I took my leave of the Duchess and followed Elizabeth to her room.
Continue.
She insisted we have a drink, without which she refused to confide anything.
What exactly did she want to speak about?
About my mother. She had just found out that I was Sarah de Riche's son. Elizabeth wanted to tell me about the horrors my mother apparently inflicted on her.
Finding out that your own parents had always lied to you. Well, that must not have been an easy thing to hear. But do go on.
I refused to go on drinking with her. She already seemed drunk and her conversation became confused. So, then she ordered me to get out. If only I'd stayed.
Don't blame yourself, Louis. How could you have known? But thank you for this new information. Louis, I shan't hide the fact that this tragedy puts me in a very delicate situation. I cannot risk upsetting the smooth operation of our next conference. But the case cannot remain unaddressed. I must reassure my guests, and justice will be done. And for that to happen, I must ask for your help.
Why is that?
You met Elizabeth. You spoke together, I believe. She trusted you. Listen, Louis. Find out who could have committed this murder. I refuse to believe that one of my guests is the murderer. I want to know who is responsible for this. And I trust you. You have my backing. You must stop at nothing. Can I count on you?
Of course. How would you like me to proceed?
Maybe you could start by going to the scene of the crime. Elizabeth was attacked in her room.
Can you tell me anything else about what happened?
Now, Louis, I wouldn't want to influence you. Get over there and form your own opinion.
Right. I'll get over there immediately.
Thank you, Louis. Now, once you've finished, come back and let me know your findings. I'll be waiting. And Louis, you've got permission to search through the guests' rooms. They've all been notified and they agree.
Ah, ja.
Dante's Purgatory. Why does your mind presume to flight when you're still like the imperfect grub, the worm before it's attained its final form? Charming.
four-letter word could open this? Which four-letter word could open this?
Lord William Alexander Mortimer, Markgraf von Westfordshire, im britischen Hochadligen, ist einer der äußerst reichlichen englischen Edeladelsmänner, der so einflussreich wie diskret ist. Lord Mortimer und hätte unter anderem mit seinen Investitionen in etlichen Talenten überwältigend geschäftlichen Erfolg. So konnte er sich aus der Öffentlichkeit zurückziehen und immer öfter die Abschiedenheiten seiner Privatinsel genießen. Als großer Kunstmenschen unterstützt er zahlreiche Künstler unterschiedliche Richtungen und bringt auch gerne unterschiedliche Persönliche zusammen. Das tut er auch mit dem Großen dieser Welt, mit einflussreichen Personen, Staatsmännern. Regelmäßig organisiert er das gesellschaftlichen Treffen auf seiner privaten Insel an der englischen Küste. Entweder Kunst oder Küste vielleicht?
Which four-letter word could open this?
Sind aber noch 4 Buchstaben. Ich komme später nochmal drauf zurück. Mir fällt es bis gerade wirklich echt ein.
nightmare painted by Fuseli in 1781. Honey, I couldn't have hoped for better. Your Eminence, I imagine that you've heard the news about Miss Adams.
What a tragedy, my son. How could such a thing have happened?
That's exactly what I'm trying to find out. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary last night?
I saw the young French soldier, Bonaparte, I believe, hanging around near Miss Adams' room. But I would not want to get an innocent man into trouble, Louis. It's probably nothing. But if I were you, my son, I would talk to Monsieur Peru. You remember how violently he set upon Miss Adams.
Oh, don't worry. He's on the list of suspects.
Which four-letter word could open this?
Zweite Buchstabe, erste Buchstabe. Bin noch ein bisschen überfragt. Tja, so war es meine Tod, würde ich sagen.
Monsieur Johann van Vulner.
Good day, Monsieur de Richet.
Mr. Volner, are you looking for anything in particular? Next to Elizabeth's room?
No, nothing special.
Has anyone told you that Elizabeth was killed last night?
Yes. Rumors spread quickly.
Huh. He looks very put out.
It's horrible. How did it happen?
I can say nothing to you, sir. You'd better follow your host's instructions and stay in your quarters.
I shall leave you now, sir. I will return to my room.
A chest with a half-circle pattern. An untutored hand copied these notes. Looks like a healing method. Well, that's a pity. The writing is barely legible. There are numerous marks on the body. She must have fought like a lion. It couldn't have happened without a lot of noise. There are also a number of old scars. People who scar themselves in this way generally do so to relieve some kind of psychological suffering. By trying to master the pain, they establish their self-control. Scarring, ugh. Scarring isn't very regular, but they're mostly from old cuts.
Okay, da ist mein...
I count no fewer than 9 wounds on the thorax, with a lot of blood. On first sight, I'd say that's what caused her death. It looks as though the wounds were inflicted from a precise angle, as if the murderer was standing behind Elizabeth. Some of these tattoos are veritable works of... What's that? The skin between her breasts is different. Bloody hell! This tattoo was drawn on a page of leather and stitched onto her skin. Probably during childhood. If the scars are anything to go by. It's the same kind of tattoo as on the rest of her body. I see no sign of bruising on the skull. The only clue is a scar from a previous craniectomy. Poor Elizabeth, she must have been very young when she went through all that. That's torture. She also has old scars around the neck, maybe mutilations. She bled from the nose. There are signs of bleeding, but I don't see any traces of bruising. There are signs of bleeding, but I don't see any traces of bruising. There are signs of bleeding, but I don't see any traces of bruising. What a strange smell.
Schade, ich nehme an, dass irgendein Beruhigungsmittel ist oder irgendwas anderes.
No wounds, but blood on the right hand. Nothing on the left except that tattooed symbol. No marks or bruising around the wrists. It doesn't look like she was tied up or held by force. Blood, but no trace of blows on the legs. The direction of the blood streaks caused by the wounds to the thorax show that she was standing when she lost blood. This proves that she was standing when she was assassinated, possibly held by someone or something.
Hände, Kopf hatten wir ja, ne? Oberkörper haben wir untersucht, Arme haben wir untersucht. Beine haben wir auch, okay.
The clock stopped at 3:54. If it was smashed during the murder, then I've just established the time of the crime. My dear Elizabeth, I'm writing to inform you of some unfortunate news. We won't be able to meet as planned on the first Sunday of May. I've been told that you're no better, and, unfortunately, your brothers and I are absolutely snowed under by the work required to govern this new country. Please excuse us. As soon as we can get free, even if it's just for a day, I promise we shall come and see you. Your loving father, John Adams. P.S. Don't hold it against your mother. She still isn't ready. Please don't judge her. I'm sure you'll be able to put all of this behind you one day.
Ah ja, also da wollte der Vater auf jeden Fall Kontakt haben, dass die Mutter kam dann nicht damit zurecht.
Knocked over a bottle of wine. Same thing Elizabeth served me last night. Still just as disgusting. I don't know what's happened to this wine, but it's undrinkable. Poor girl bled to death. Whoever left that footprint has boats for feet. That's at least a size 15. Where's a size like that here? Peru? Washington, maybe.
Ah ja. Kommen wir der Sache ja schon etwas näher.
The lower part of the handle is unsullied by blood. The murderer gripped the weapon so tight that there's no blood where he held it. The handprint indicates a small and slender hand. The blade is short and thin, well sharpened, apparently. It's covered in blood. Still fresh. The handprint on the handle is really small. I can't imagine a man with a hand that size. It must be from a woman's hand. Blood spatter indicates that the murderer must have held Elizabeth upright during the attack. Even if Elizabeth wasn't very big, I doubt she wouldn't have put up a struggle. It takes tremendous strength to overpower someone like that.
Okay, also dann müsste er sehr kräftig und stark sein. Unser Mörder.
Vials of laudanum. The label shows that this laudanum comes straight from America. I wonder if Washington's involved. Honey, the remedy of the gods. A pentagram? What the hell's been going on here? I wonder if Elizabeth's death has anything at all to do with this pentagram. If a ritual went wrong and degenerated, Elizabeth would probably have been killed in the center of the pentagram, not 3 meters from here. That's strange. A pentagram? What the hell's been going on here? Many esoteric rituals are based on this shape. Could Elizabeth have been sacrificed during an occult ritual? Piece of fabric, high quality at that. I'd say it's silk. The texture and the gray hue must come from a dress, that kind that women of quality wear. Color doesn't correspond to Emily's black outfits, and Elizabeth doesn't have anything quite like this in her wardrobe. Let's take a closer look. It's a little dirty. It must come from the bottom of the dress where it touches the ground. I recognize that moire pattern. It's the same as the travel dress my mother was wearing when she left. But why the hell did she come into this room? Pistol? Fairly new, I'd say. And judging by the weight of it, fairly light. Extremely well maintained. The barrel is perfectly clean. It isn't loaded, and well, there's no traces of gunshot residue. I'd conclude that it hasn't been used recently. There's a few dried traces of blood on the grip. Difficult to know for sure how they got there. A tribute engraved on the barrel. To the liberators of France. Right. I shall have to find its owner. 30 November, 1791. My dear sister, the cancellation of our reunion hit me like a stab to the heart. Father told me it was for your well-being, but I can't help but blame him. He claims that your condition has worsened and that it could be dangerous for both of us if we met. If only I knew where you were, believe me, I'd be at your side. I haven't received any news from you in a long time. Please write. Your loving sister, Abigail. P.S. I hope you like the enclosed talisman.
Okay. Die scheinen sich oft hin und her geschrieben zu haben. 1971, 1791, so rum. 1791. Und der vorige Brief war ja auch nicht ganz davon entfernt. Mhm.
August 24th, 1792. Elizabeth,
August.
I'm driven to despair and doubt there is any point in writing to you. I'm not even sure you'll receive my letters. Father controls my correspondence more and more. I am certain he filters our exchanges. Thankfully, one of the chambermaids is able to help me get my letters to you. But they still remain unanswered. I often think about you and pray every day to be able to hold you tight. We have so much time to make up. I beg you, answer me, please. Your loving sister, Abigail. P.S. That horrible woman came again yesterday. She spent a long time speaking with Father. I didn't understand everything because they spoke in French, but I'm sure they were talking about you.
Okay.
June 11th, 1791. My dear Elizabeth, your last letter gave me much cause for concern. Your words were so cold, as if emotions no longer matter to you. Father maintains that the secondary effects of your treatment still trouble you, but that they will soon subside. Should I believe him? I cling to the belief that we shall soon see each other again, at long last. Write soon. Your loving sister, Abigail. P.S. Don't forget to tell me what present you want.
Mhm.
A novel of the initiation of a young woman into polite society. A notebook written in Elizabeth's handwriting. It is written in a mix of several languages. Not too easy to work out.
Dann müssen wir es wohl leider noch zurückhalten. Schade eigentlich.
Has Sir finished with this room?
Do you know who could have made such a mess of this room?
Miss Adams, sir. We were given orders to leave the room as it was, so as not to rush her.
Did she have a fight with someone to get the room into this state?
Not that I know of, sir. Miss Adams would sometimes throw a tantrum, during which she would destroy anything that came to hand. Lord Mortimer told us not to enter the room.
Thanks for that information.
You are welcome, sir. Has Sir finished with this room?
No, I haven't gone over everything yet.
Sir may take his time. When Sir would like to leave, Sir has only to tell me.
möchte bloß nichts übersehen.
Devil's Thorn.
Has Sir finished with this room?
I know enough now. Thank you.
Very well, sir. Sir may return whenever need be. I shall guard the door.
Das ist eine sehr gute Idee. Und ich hoffe mal, dass du...
President George Washington.
Devil's Thorn. I'll keep it.
It looks like a note between Emily and Washington about trade deals.
My dear George, I'd like to invite you to join me as planned at my place. I have a project to show you. It is time that the United States played a more important role on the world stage. I understand your reluctance of playing with fire. I know your new country is very young, but rest assured that I would do nothing to jeopardize what we have built together. I look forward to seeing you soon. Your friend, William.
Okay.
A map of Connecticut.
Leider mal die Erfahrungspunkte noch nicht, um das wieder zu öffnen.
Portrait of George Washington.
honey. I couldn't have hoped for better.
Der Typ ein Vampir oder warum sieht man den im Spiegel nicht? Na, da hat uns die Grafik wohl ein bisschen in den Stich gelassen, ne?
Greetings, Louis.
Mr. President, you can guess why I'm here.
Of course.
Lord Mortimer has sent me to ask you a few questions about last night.
It's... How am I going to tell Elizabeth's father that she's dead?
I know, Mr. President. I shall endeavor to find out the truth about this tragedy. I must ask you to help me, though. Please.
Find the degenerate pig who did this, Louis.
Are you all right, Mr. President? Are you feeling all right?
Oh, don't worry. It's this rotten toothache. What do you expect? I'm no spring chicken now.
Tell me, Mr. President, had you spoken to Elizabeth since your arrival? You know her father. You thought she was dead.
No, I didn't. And I believe I'll be taking my remorse with me to my grave. I wanted to, but I didn't know where to begin.
You can't blame yourself. You couldn't have known that her days were numbered. Were you aware that Elizabeth took laudanum?
Yes. She came to ask me for some. She had finished her reserve, I believe.
Naja.
Do you take it regularly, Mr. President?
Unfortunately, I do, Louis. I still suffer from a terrible toothache, and it's not likely to get any better.
It's just for that, then?
Old age, my young friend. I don't wish it upon you, but you'll soon see. At my age, it's rare to have no problems in that domain.
And do you take a lot?
A moderate amount, Louis. Only the dosage indicated on the prescription of my doctor.
Were you aware that Elizabeth took laudanum?
Yes. She came to ask me for some. She had finished her reserve, I believe.
Did she tell you why she was so desperate to get some, Mr. President?
She said she had terrible migraines that wouldn't go away.
More likely for the voices she heard, not the migraines. Do you know why she came to the island?
To get help, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right?
Indeed. Sir Gregory suggested to her father that he introduce her to Lord Mortimer to see if he could help her. It would appear that she wasn't invited to the conference.
That doesn't surprise me. The poor girl was in no way concerned by our business, and she had no political clout.
So, I don't understand why Sir Gregory invited her during the conference of his good friend Lord Mortimer. He must have realized that he wouldn't have much time to grant her. Preparing a conference does not seem an easy task. On the evening of our arrival, Lord Mortimer didn't even welcome us, what with his being so busy and all.
Yes, you're right, Louis. I didn't think of that. It is indeed rather surprising. The easiest thing to do is simply ask him, you know.
Of course. Do you know if she had any enemies, Mr. President?
Not that I know of. I heard about her altercation with Mr. Peru, but that case was closed, if I'm not mistaken. But if in doubt, I wouldn't leave any door unopened. And I'd go and question your fellow countrymen.
Don't worry. Countryman or not, I'm not letting anybody slip through the cracks. Mr. President, we found a footprint at the scene of the crime.
Not a dress shoe, I hope. That's all I wear.
No, rest assured. It looks like the print of a big ankle boot. A large size, I'd say.
Perfect. That should help you, Louis. It's a clue.
Monseigneur, His Eminence Cardinal Piaggi. Huh, that's me. Duchess Emily Hillsborough. Napoleon Bonaparte.
Bonaparte. Ja, dem würde ich sowas zutrauen.
The Prince by Machiavelli. A perfect read for anyone with a surfeit of ambition.
Ah, das ist aber
That might come in handy.
sogenannte legendäre Hut.
Hannibal crossing the Alps. Another military success. Why do I get nothing but visions of horror in my room? And he gets victory after victory? The Battle of Alexander at Issus, or how Alexander the Great triumphed over King Darius. Yet another one with delusions of grandeur. Honey, I couldn't have hoped for better.
Bicorn decorated with a cockade. It must belong to a French soldier. Carmelite water. They say that if you drink this, it gives you a real boost. My dearest son, I'm writing to implore you to act quickly. The situation is rapidly worsening here. Paoli continues to steer our motherland, Corsica, toward open warfare between France and England. His men are everywhere. We are obliged to go into hiding
and are unable to remain in the same place for more than 2 days. I wouldn't be surprised if they targeted us. Make haste, my son. You hold our destiny in your hands. Your loving mother, Maria Letizia Bonaparte. It's a beautiful weapon, a lovely damask blade. It's marked with the initials of the manufacturer in Versailles.
Amber.
French actor Talma is Nero in Britannicus, the last emperor of the Caesar dynasty.
My dear Napoleon, as previously agreed, I would like to ask you to join us in January on my island to participate in the High Society meeting organized for the occasion. We shall be able to continue our discussion about our project for a new order for France. I have a proposition to make to you concerning your wish to put a strong leader at the head of France. I trust you to be discreet as to your coming. See you soon. Lord William Mortimer.
There's just one holster in Bonaparte's gear, and the pistol is missing. On the other hand, his cleaning equipment is in mint condition. That's typical of the soldier in him.
Monsieur de Richet, please be quick. We are both very busy.
Did you hear about young Elizabeth?
Indeed, it is deeply regrettable.
Lord Mortimer asked me to...
I know. You no doubt want to know my alibi. I spent the night downstairs playing cards.
Can you tell me who was present at the game, please?
Well, there were Lord Mortimer, President Washington, and Sir Gregory.
Thank you.
Ah, and His Eminence Piaget as well. Excuse me, I nearly forgot him. Poor soul.
Did you notice anything unusual during the evening?
Nothing at all, except the luck of the devil of Lord Mortimer and Sir Gregory at cards.
Did they win much?
Oh la la, monsieur, they cleaned us out more like. But I plan on getting it all back before we leave.
What time did the game end?
I can't say exactly. As for me, I must have stayed until midnight. I was exhausted, couldn't think straight. So I preferred to go up to bed.
On your way up to bed, did you notice anything out of the ordinary?
No, not in the least. The whole manor was sound asleep.
Not really. No. Did any of you leave during the game?
Not that I know of, monsieur. I didn't exactly spend my time noting the other guests' comings and goings, but I don't think so.
Thank you. Someone saw you not far from the victim's room. Can you tell me what you were doing exactly, please?
I can tell you that someone is an idiot. I wanted to warn her to be careful. You see, on the night of my arrival, I saw someone leaving her room in haste, and I wanted to speak to her, to warn her. Unfortunately, the young lady slipped through my fingers each time. Now I know why. She had every reason to be worried. What an idiot I was not to insist. I could have helped her.
I've been studying him for a while now, and I don't think he was lying. Yet, I'm surprised how easy it was for me to read him. It must surely be his military side. I wish they all could be like that. My investigation would be finished already. As any good soldier would, I imagine you own a firearm. May I see it?
Oh, well, if you really want to, here is my pistol. Don't worry, it is not loaded.
Do you have several of these?
In Corsica, oui, but not on me when I am traveling. Only a bandit would carry such an arsenal.
Thank you.
Well, have we finished, monsieur?
Exactly. Thanks again for all your answers. Good day.
Wenn er so busy ist, warum hängt er denn da wie ein Schluck Wasser? Ich glaub den nicht. Napoleon konntest du noch nie trauen.
Monsieur Jacques Perru.
What do you want from me, de Richet?
Greetings. It's fallen to me
Cut the crap! Get to the point. We both know why you're here.
And have you got anything to tell me?
What does it matter? It's too late anyway. Do what you have to do and get out.
It's never too late, sir. If you have something to say, now is the time.
You don't understand. Everything's already written. it's over.
Why is he behaving like the perfect culprit? What is it that's already written? I'm not sure I follow you.
No, you don't.
A pattern with 4 circles. Massacre of the Innocents, but by Van Harlem. I think that Mortimer likes to play mind games with his guests.
Ich weiß nicht, ob wir uns wiedersehen. Zum gegenwärtigen Zeitpunkt bin ich ein Gefangener meiner eigenen Entscheidung. Du musst beschützt werden. Meine Zukunft ist ohne dich verloren. Du kannst noch gerettet werden. Ganz gleich wie verbittert du meinetwegen bist. Du solltest wissen, dass ich mit dem Teufel, den ich zu mir bezwungen versuchte, einen Pakt geschlossen habe. Ich dachte, die Monster zu kennen, aber was ich für Frankreich getan habe, ist nichts zu vergleichen mit dem, wozu in der Lage sind. Ich sehe keinen Ausweg, das Maul des Bestie schließt sich. Ich werde dich immer lieben. Also geht es wieder mal wie immer um eine Frau. Zumindest in diesem Brief.
The Massacre of the Innocents by Rubens. A bit gloomy. Guess my room is not that bad. Records of the police. Notes intended for the police lieutenant of Paris. It's a list of people under surveillance in Paris. And there's some well-known names on it. This is valuable information. This shouldn't be lying around.
So, sind noch mehr nette Büchlein drin in diesem schönen netten Regal? Ah, da oben mal was.
Amber crystals.
Amber crystals.
Dear friend, please come and join us. We must meet about the ongoing operations in Paris. A boat will be waiting for you in Calais and will take you to Dover in England. From there, a carriage will take you to the port of Tintagel, where a frigate will be waiting for you and other guests, so you can meet up with me on my island as quickly as possible. I await your arrival. Lord William Mortimer.
4 circles. Dear Monsieur Peru, I'm writing to thank you for the funds you sent. These funds will be crucial for the renovation of the western wing of the orphanage. The children you sent are doing marvelously well, and little Pierre will soon be walking. Some of them still sometimes suffer nightmares about their parents on the scaffold, but I expect they will cease in due course. Should you decide to send us more, please note that another 20 beds will soon be ready. The children and myself will never thank you enough. Long live the Republic. Long live France. Sister Marie-Hélène.
All right. I've retrieved everything. All right. I've retrieved everything.
All right. Have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions. I know you were at the scene. We will save a lot of time if you just tell me what happened.
You know nothing at all.
Enlighten me then. For now, I have your footprint in a pool of blood.
That's right. The only thing you can prove is one of my boots was at the scene. Congratulations. You've wrapped up the investigation. All right. Have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions. Let's get right to it. Are you... You Elizabeth Adams' murderer?
That is for you to prove, if I'm not mistaken, boy. You weren't expecting me to do all the legwork for you, were you? Lazy man.
I'd like to talk about the letter you're writing. What woman is it addressed to?
Who says it's a woman? I'm not saying any more. There's no point you insisting. All right. Have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions. You were armed the night of my arrival. Can I see your weapon?
No.
You do realize you're not helping, don't you? You're making it worse for yourself. You were armed the night of my arrival. Can I see your weapon?
No.
You do realize you're not helping, don't you? You're making it worse for yourself. Goodbye, sir. We shall meet again.
Probably.
I've come to speak about the findings of the investigation, my lord.
I'm listening, Louis.
Will you remind me of the facts we already know about?
Elizabeth Adams was killed last night, but Piaggi was with Holm and I until late at night. As for Bonaparte and Washington, they left us after midnight, both tired.
I believe I've identified the murderer.
Really, Louis? All right then. Please think carefully before you give me your answer. This is a very, very serious accusation.
I'm going to need a bit more time to review my findings about the crime.
I do understand. All the more so as it's crucial not to make any mistakes when it comes to naming the culprit.
Which four-letter word could open this?
Leider immer noch nicht rausgefunden, wie das. Weil alle Namen sind entweder viel zu lang.
Monsieur Johann van Volner.
Den waren wir noch nicht. Nee, hier waren wir noch nicht drin.
A Chinese coin, recognizable by the hole in the middle. If I remember rightly, that's called a cash.
Talent freigeschalten, Bücherwurm.
The Sorrows of Young Werther. There's a handwritten text signed by von Werner on this first page. Dear Elizabeth, I know that this book is but a small token compared to the delightful moments you gave me, but I hope that this will nonetheless keep the memory alive. Your ever-obedient servant. So, Volner had a relationship with Elizabeth, but that's hardly surprising given his fondness for the occult. Golden elixir. A chest locked with a four-letter code. Surely a word close to the owner's heart.
Muss gleich auch noch passen. schade eigentlich, aber...
Signs of the Zodiac. Carmelite water. They say that if you drink this, it gives you a real boost. The alchemist is a young man.
A fragment of amber.
The alchemist is an old man.
What can I do for you, Richet?
Monsieur, Lord Mortimer has appointed me to investigate the tragedy that befell us last night.
Oh, yes. It's horrible. Yes. How can I help, monsieur?
Where were you last night?
In my room. I read a few ancient manuscripts before going to bed. But I didn't stay up long. I was tired.
Thank you kindly. Excuse me for asking, but did you know Miss Adams?
Oh, she... not really, to tell the truth. No.
I found the Werther dedication, signed by your hand, monsieur. Would you like to change your version now?
Be careful, de Richet. Don't push your luck. My relationship with Miss Adams was pure, and has nothing to do with you. Well, continue playing the detective as you see fit. But if I find the bastard who did that to Elizabeth, I will...
Yes! I would have preferred a simple response, but I see I have my answer now. You loved her, didn't you?
That is none of your damn business.
Your feelings betray you, sir.
So what? Yes, I loved her, like a moth loves the flame of a candle. That's why we could never be together.
Naja.
Exactly how long had you been seeing her?
I have no reason to answer you.
I see. Is that what you want me to tell Lord Mortimer when he asks what I found out?
It's only been a few weeks.
I get the impression that your romance was over. Am I right?
So? What does it matter to you? I would never have attacked her, if that's what you're insinuating.
Who put an end to the relationship? You or her?
It was her. It was her. But what does that matter? We both agreed.
We finished. I'll have a look around and then take my leave.
Do whatever you have to do.
President George Washington. Monseigneur His Eminence Cardinal Piaggi. Huh, that's me. Duke Manuel Godoy. Duchess Emily Hillsborough.
Hier waren wir noch nicht.
King George III in coronation robes. Nice touch for the room of an English duchess. Tending children at the orphanage in Harlem. I find it a little hard to understand this painting choice.
Dear E, I received your last letter. Unfortunately, the Crown informed the Golden Order that our mission should under no circumstances hamper Sir Gregory's plans. Decidedly, they have support from the highest level in Buckingham Palace. So here we both are, hands and feet tied, and little room to maneuver. Keep me abreast of events. Our mission is becoming more complicated. Yours, E. P.S. The French chapter of the Order doesn't appear to know anything about the arrival of our friend Sarah. I therefore cannot comment on it. However, my guess is that she has come here for personal reasons.
The Lady's Waldegrave by Reynolds, painted upon the request of the Waldegrave family, in an effort to find them a husband. Displayed like meat. It's disgusting. A letter from William Pitt the Younger, addressed to Emily. He's the present Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Emily has indeed some powerful backers. Madam, thank you for consoling the Queen. The King's situation is worsening, but I wager he'll recover from this present fit. Next time you speak with Her Majesty the Queen, would you please be so kind as to ask her to look into my petition to raise taxes with the King? I will personally see to it that our nation will recover from this impasse. But King George's mental situation is slowing down our decision-taking. Thank you in advance for all your help. William Pitt, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom of Great Britain.
Der hat auf jeden Fall einflussreiche Leute auf jeden Fall im Hinternacken. Definitiv.
A Byzant from the Byzantine Empire. A coin often used during the St. Louis era. 2 coils circle the lock.
Herzogin. Wir können König George davon in Kenntnis setzen, dass ich ihm Unterstützung des Heiligen Vaters gewiss ist. Wir werden sie bei der Rekrutierung von Regimentern aus emigrierten Royalisten, die gegen Frankreich kämpfen sollen, finanzierende Unterstützung. Ihr Freund, sein Eminenz Giuseppe Piaggi. Ich wusste, dass die unter einer Decke stecken, die zwei. Dies habe ich im letzten schon mal vermutet.
From William Pitt the Elder, addressed to Emily. He was the English Prime Minister. This letter dates from 15 years ago now. Madam, I shall never thank you enough for all your care and attention. I shall be indebted to you until my last breath. If you have any request of me, you only need ask. With regards to my son William, I shall never thank you enough for looking after him. You know the latter's preferences, and you will understand he needs you desperately. For that, and as agreed with Queen Charlotte, our friend Duke Hillsborough will carry out his task and meet with you within 6 months. From then on, you'll be free from want. Yours sincerely, William Pitt, Count of Chatham.
Mhm. Mhm. Also war sie sozusagen das Kindermädchen oder sowas.
A devil's thorn, to be used to uncover the best disguised traits.
Was mit dem Kissen? Das ist ein magisches Kissen. Das liegt so über die Hälfte des Bettes. Es schwebt praktisch fast. So, ich glaube, dann hatte ich den Raum ja fast durch, ja? Halt.
William Pitt, the elder, Earl of Chatham. Emily works with his son.
What can I do for you, Louis?
I've come to see you about last night's tragedy. Did you hear anything about what happened to Elizabeth?
Yes, we all did. Rumors spread quickly, you know. How awful. I didn't know her well, but I hope at least the poor thing didn't suffer too much.
Death came quickly. You can be assured of that.
If such a senseless act can happen here, then none of us is truly safe anywhere. Lord Mortimer must be mortified that one of his guests could have committed such an act, don't you think?
He is indeed very upset about it. It's only natural after such a violent murder.
Violent? What do you mean?
Elizabeth was stabbed 9 times.
Oh my God, Louis. How awful. The murderer must have had a serious grudge against her to set upon her like that. It must have been a crime of passion. Do you know what happened exactly?
In fact, Lord Mortimer has asked me to look into this case, Emily.
Really? Are you Lord Mortimer's snoop now?
I'm doing it for Elizabeth, not to please Mortimer.
Good for you. Quite right, too. Have you found out anything?
I'm now interviewing all the guests to establish the alibis for each person. Just so that I can cross you off the list of suspects, can you tell me what you were doing on the night of the murder?
Am I given to understand that I'm on the list of suspects?
Don't take it the wrong way, but I must consider every possibility.
Well, if you absolutely wanted to be sure of my activities that evening, you only had to join me, you know.
I know, Emily. Especially since I couldn't prevent the murder, even though I spent part of the evening with Elizabeth.
You're sure it's not too hard to bear for you?
The fact is, I don't have a choice. But I will find the murderer. I owe Elizabeth that, at least. Did you and Elizabeth get to know each other?
I must admit, Louis, I didn't take much interest in her. I feel a bit guilty about it, but I never actually spoke to her. She seemed burdened by her problems, and as she wasn't invited to the conference, I didn't really seek her out.
Hmm?
I hear you were in discussions with the Holy See.
Oh, either His Eminence can't keep his tongue from wagging, or you've been poking your nose where you shouldn't, sir.
Even so, Emily, you're raising a royalist army. That's no small matter.
And you are straying from the subject. Is there anything else you wanted to ask me?
I found a torn piece of dress in Miss Adams' room. Gray silk.
Where's it from?
That's what I'm trying to find out. The color doesn't match any of Elizabeth's dresses, but I might not have found all of her clothes yet.
Good Lord, Louis, do you realize what this means? If this piece of dress isn't from Elizabeth, then it's... I don't have any grey silk dresses, Louis. Neither does my sister, since we wear the same clothes.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to check with you.
I'm so sorry, Louis.
Thank you.
Are you all right? You know, I'm sure there's a good reason why your mother was at the scene.
Thank you, Emily. We found the murder weapon.
What is it?
A dagger, quite slim.
Have you found its owner?
Not yet. Still searching as it happens. That said, since a blade penetrated the body several times, the murderer's hand will have been covered in blood.
You think that's a clue?
The handprint was a very slender hand, Emily. Probably that of a woman.
Do you realize what that means? There are only 3 of us on the island. Bearing in mind that neither my sister nor myself had any reason to set upon the young lady, that means...
I know, Emily. I know.
Keep up your courage, Louis. I'm sure there's an explanation. You're bound to shed some light on it all.
If what you say is true, Emily, I'm less and less enthusiastic about shedding any light on the subject. I won't keep you, Emily. Thank you for answering my questions.
See you, Louis.
Monsieur Napoléon Bonaparte.
Bonaparte war ich schon dran.
Monsieur Jacques Perru.
What a tragedy, my son. How could such a thing have happened?
That's exactly what I'm trying to find out. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary last night?
I saw the young French soldier, Bonaparte, I believe, hanging around near Miss Adams' room. But I would not want to get an innocent man into trouble, Louis. He's probably...
Den Saumraum war ich aber noch nicht. Ich will jetzt nicht sagen.
Not to worry, Your Eminence. If he is innocent, then he has nothing to fear. Do you know why Monsieur Bonaparte was hanging around her room like that?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that the dashing young soldier had become infatuated with a fragile young woman who looked a bit lost. But I don't think he got a very warm welcome.
Bonaparte and Adams? But they didn't even know each other, did they?
I couldn't say, Louis. But if I were you, my son, I would talk to Monsieur Peru. You remember how violently he set upon Miss Adams.
Oh, don't worry. He's on the list of suspects. I've come to speak about the findings of the investigation, my lord.
I'm listening, Louis.
Will you remind me of the facts we already know about?
Elizabeth Adams was killed last night, but Piaggi was with Holm and I until late at night. As for Bonaparte and Washington, they left us after midnight, both tired.
No.
I'm sorry, my lord, but I don't have any evidence conclusive enough to allow me to name the culprit with certitude.
Really? I see. Well, that's your decision, Louis, and I accept it. Given the distinguished guests and the sensitive political issues involved at the conference, I trust you'll leave me to conclude the case in my own way. Right. It's time we spoke about your mother, Louis.
She isn't missing, you know.
What? What do you mean?
My mother has left traces in every nook and cranny of your island, my lord. She's definitely here. Now, what worries me most is why she doesn't show herself.
That doesn't make me feel any better, Louis.
What was the official reason why my mother came to your island?
I knew about your mother's activities, and yours, in the Golden Order. I thought we had everything to gain by working together.
You mean the cannon deal with Monsieur Bonaparte?
Among others, yes. How did you hear about that?
Monsieur Bonaparte came to speak to me about it yesterday, during lunch.
I see. So,
Was ich ja natürlich verkackt habe.
He was supposed to let me speak to you about it first. Our friend Napoleon desperately needed financial backing to properly equip his army. I took it upon myself to back him because I have a firm conviction that he can go far. Yet he told me that you had spoken and that you hadn't been able to reach an understanding.
That's putting it mildly. Monsieur Bonaparte is one of those guys who only understands people who think like he does.
Ah, I see what you mean. He is indeed rather inflexible when it comes to certain subjects. But I am still of the opinion that you can manage to get along.
We shall see. However, there's one thing that surprises me. Isn't Bonaparte a bit young to deserve so much attention?
Well, you come straight to the point. I like that. Indeed, if you knew just how much you remind me of him. Trust me, I'll wager that Monsieur Napoleon will soon prove himself. I'm working on it, at least. Once this deal was closed, I had big plans for Sarah.
Such as what?
You see, I've invited several influential figures on my island to present them with a project at the conference. It will be presented later today. I thought that the Golden Order had a role to play, and I still think so. I was hoping Sarah would be able to join us.
I see.
Indeed, if by chance your mother decided not to return to us before the conference, would you do me the great honor of attending? If only to follow the deliberations while waiting for her to duly take her seat.
Why not? We shall see.
Ah, thank you so much. In this way, you'll be able to keep your mother informed of what is said. There's something else I'd like to briefly go over. Earlier, you asked me the official reason for your mother's presence here. Is there an off-the-record reason why your mother came here?
If only my mother had trusted me, but she remained very mysterious. I'd have been delighted to answer your question.
Is this usual for her?
As head of the Order, secrets are her bread and butter, as you can imagine. That said, it's the first time she hasn't let me in on the reason for her trip. And it intrigues me, to tell you the truth.
Well, I'm sure that Sarah will explain everything once she reappears. There's something I still don't get. In your opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
Das ist eine gute Frage, das habe ich mir auch schon gestellt. Weil sie wurde das erste Mal eingeladen von ihm, also von daher...
Her not coming back to the manor after so long makes me wonder if she's wary of someone.
Well, certainly. But whom? The only ones who were present during her stay were Sir Gregory, Duchess Hillsborough, Mr. von Boulder, and myself.
Gregory Holmes? Ah... Herzlich in Milbury glaube ich eher weniger. Ich glaube entweder Gregory Home oder den Wollner gegenüber.
It seems you're close friends. What can you tell me about Sir Gregory?
Gregory? Oh, he's one of those cantankerous old men who hates losing at chess. He's a little eccentric and rather conservative. I'm sure you've met the type.
Well, actually, I don't judge people on how they look.
And you do well not to. What with his manner of continuing to wear makeup as he does, Gregory often gives off an unhealthy image. The only thing I can tell you is that Sarah had indeed changed. At the beginning of her stay here, we enjoyed spending time together, solving the world's problems.
You seem to know my mother very well, my lord. What did you talk about together?
Oh, as soon as we had a little free time, we liked to share points of view about practically any subject. We would find ourselves embarked on interminable discussions that could go from Monsieur Blanchard's flight in a hot air balloon to the Treaty of Jersey, or the adoption of the metric system in France last year, or even Mr. Eli Whitney's invention in the United States.
My mother must have undoubtedly taken great pleasure in these exchanges. She always was one to appreciate broadening her knowledge. I'm surprised she didn't get you started on the Crusades. It was her favorite subject.
Are you joking? Sarah and I spent entire days together reliving them. It so happens that the Crusades are also my subject of predilection, especially the third. My ancestor distinguished himself brilliantly during the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
Die berühmte päpstliche Bulle von Papst Gregor? Nein. Über die Kreuzzüge, wer weiß es nicht.
Unfortunately, my lord, the Crusades are not my chosen field.
Well, it doesn't matter. You have plenty of time to learn. Your mother is a very well-read woman. You're quite lucky to have her as a model, Louis.
Yes, I know, but I'm still very worried.
I must admit, there are worse things to worry about now, Louis.
What do you mean?
Since she disappeared, your mother has been seen once. Her behavior on the evening of your arrival greatly surprised Gregory and myself. She resurfaced to attack Emma, Emily Hillsborough's twin sister. And she shot her with a pistol. Then, before Gregory could intervene, she ran off and
What hat sie
disappeared.
getan?
I beg your pardon? Hang on.
That means my vision on the wharf, it was actually happening inside the manor. Mother shot Emily's sister? The very person she came looking for? Why would she do that?
Excuse me, but between that and the childhood of Lady Adams, it's all a bit much for me to cope with. I need to piece it all together again to see things more clearly. You said that you spent a lot of time talking together at the beginning. What happened for that to change?
I'm afraid I haven't much to tell you. The more the days went by, the more she withdrew into herself. She never gave me an explanation. Until the day came when she purely and simply disappeared.
Where did she go when she wanted to be alone?
She would shut herself away in a room we use as a box room upstairs.
Would you allow me to go there?
Naturally, Louis, of course. I'll send you a servant to open it.
Thank you.
That's all I can tell you about the disappearance of your mother, Louis. I would like to have been more helpful.
I shall stay on her trail and follow up any leads.
Thank you. We will meet later on to welcome our last guest. In the meantime, I shall get someone to open the box room upstairs for you.
Thank you.
The room was just opposite Mortimer's study.
So. Gehe zum Turmzimmer. Gut. Da geht's nach unten. Nope. gerade sehr hilfreich. Aber hier vorne gibt es kleines Action. So, ist da. Aber das ist verschlossen. Das wäre aber das Zimmer, wo ich sage, dass es Turmzimmer ist. Washington auf jeden Fall. Und mal zu Adam. Okay, jetzt kommt das nächste Washington-Zimmer und dann Adams Zimmer.
President George Washington.
Naja, der alte Kanube da. Zottelbart. Oh. Jetzt sind wir gleich wieder vorne angelangt und haben wir das Turmzimmer noch nicht gefunden. Da geht's nicht weiter. Ich glaube, ich laufe hier im Kreis.
Monsieur Johann van Wulner.
Und der war's nicht. Der hat ja die... Ah, aber hier geht's wieder. Hey. Da bin ich ja gekommen. Ja, das geht nicht. Dies geht nicht. Dies geht nicht. So, da kann man auch nicht runter. Hier geht's nirgendwo weiter.
Monsieur Jacques Perru?
Die Jacques Perru? Das war es auch nicht. Obwohl, der kann schon eher gewesen sein.
Monsieur Napoleon Bonaparte.
Den würde ich es auch zutrauen. 100 Pro. Dem alten Zaudelbart da.
Duchess Emily Hillsborough. Duke Manuel Godoy. Huh, that's me.
Und der Mainz kommt hier rein. Ja, das ist ja toll. Und seins auch nicht. Okay. Wer hatte denn noch so lästigen Zimmer nach oben gehabt? War doch gar keiner mehr.
Monseigneur His Eminence Cardinal Piaggi.
Biaggi ist ja nicht da. Diese Tür lässt sich nicht öffnen. Das wäre es eigentlich gewesen, dachte ich. Jetzt bin ich ein bisschen verwirrt. Berufszimmer. Also hier auf der Seite ist schon mal nichts. Entweder laufen wir wieder zurück. Das ist nicht fantastisch. Geh zum Turmzimmer. Gut, Mama.
President George Washington.
Wenn ich wüsste, wo das Turmzimmer ist, weil hier auf dieser Ebene ist schon mal nichts. Hoch kann ich nicht mehr, es muss ja auf diesem Gang sein und runter auch nicht. So. Nix gut. Überhaupt nicht magnifik. So, jetzt sind wir einmal rumgelaufen. Und 10-mal hin und her laufe. Klatsch. Aber kein Beifall. So. Piaci hatten wir ja schon mal. Die Dina hatten wir ja auch schon mal. Und da haben wir doch schon mal. Elizabeth. Elizabeth ist ja schon tot. So, jetzt haben wir eigentlich alle fast Hauptcharaktere hier durch. Und meine Vermutung ist ja, er hat sie geliebt, er. Meine Vermutung ist entweder er steckt unter der Decke mit ihm. Wäre jetzt meine erste Vermutung gewesen.
Monsieur Johann van Wulner.
Wulner. War die Front schon geöffnet? Nein. War sie nicht.
There are burnt papers in the chimney. There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says, we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is onto us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she be suspicious of? I must find the next part. Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there.
Ah ja. Okay, man hätte einfach bloß von gegenüber einfach nur geradeaus laufen müssen und das erste Zimmer nehmen müssen. Okay. Ne, wir gucken uns erst noch ein bisschen um.
A Bazant.
Ich weiß, ich trage wieder genug davon, ne?
St. Paul on the road to Damascus by Caravaggio. Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtain of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior.
Da muss ich als nächstes auf jeden Fall mal einen Angriff nehmen. Dass der hier und da mal zumindest mehr an.
What is this disc?
Dante's Paradise.
Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
Dante's Paradise.
Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
The door appears to be locked on the other side. I think I heard something fall to the ground. A metallic sound, like a key falling to the floor. I'm gonna need something to help me get the key that fell on the floor. The door was closed from the inside. Would Mother have provided something within reach to recover it?
Die Scheibe benutzen? Passt die denn drunter?
We'll see if it works.
Hat funktioniert, man muss ja da nichts willkürlich zerstören, ne? Ja, das ist richtig, das hast du gut erkannt. So, die schreibt, wir müssen eine sichere Kommunikationsmethode finden, um jemanden ist uns auf die Spur gekommen. Haben Sie Vertrauen in meinen Glauben, ein Mann mit dem Schwert.
Honey, the remedy of the gods.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni. St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean?
Ja, zufügen.
So we have the figure 11 twice underlined, and a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection. A text on Paul must be somewhere, and it must be associated with the figure 11. But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe?
Das ist, weil du deiner Mutter nie zugehört hast. Was haben wir denn da?
Amber crystals.
Amber Crystals. So, dann schauen wir uns noch hier noch ein bisschen um. Oder auch nicht. Okay, in dem Regal ist schon mal nichts mehr, außer eine Menge an Büchern.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
Der Servus Fantasy Girl. Hallöchen. Oder Hellas. Oder Bonjour. So, Gegenstand Inventar hinzugefügt. Substrat. Okay. Die bei der Apostel weiß ich glaube gar nichts.
John, painted by Guido Reni.
Ah ja. Da haben wir es doch schon.
The New Testament.
Die Evangelium nach Markus? Nach Markus, ne? Oder Evangelium nach Johannes? Hilf mir mal auf die Sprünge. Das Neue Testament wurde doch geschrieben nach Evangelium nach Markus, oder? Kapitel 6. Johannes. Was? Ich mein's jetzt wirklich Johannes? Okay. Kapitel 3, Vers 18, Kapitel 19, Vers 17, Kapitel 5, Vers 2, Kapitel 10, Vers 30.
book is incredibly precious. I believe this is the book my mother referred to when calling upon the Lord. A volume of the Gutenberg Bible. But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes.
Dies war kein Hinweis.
I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Oh, wait. A note from Mother is carefully folded between the pages here. What does it say? Dear E, I'm glad you found this note. I was afraid the code of the two groups of pilgrims would mislead you. Pick up the package. You know where, and hide it where no one will find it. It's imperative. Awaiting your reply.
Zu spät, schon erledigt.
What?
Schon
The
gefunden.
youngest apostle? What does Mother mean by that?
Ich musste einfach nach den Dings schauen, nach den Doppel-11. Zur Folge den Hinweisen, die deine Mutter in der Bibel versteckt hat.
The chest with the occult symbol representing air.
Rechte Schlüsselverwenden geht nicht. Paulus Briefe, Römerbriefe, Kapitel 11. Ich bin erleichtert, dass Sie den Notiz gefunden haben. Ich hatte befürchtet, dass Sie der Code der zweijährigen Pilgergruppe in der Irre führen würde. Holen Sie das Paket. Sie wissen, wo es ist. Verstecken Sie es, wo es niemand finden kann. Das ist zwingend notwendig. Ich erwarte Ihre Antwort. Verstecken jüngsten Apostel. Okay, das jüngste Apostel, da müssen wir ja nochmal da her und der linke Apostel. Der jüngste Apostel war Petrus, Jakobus, Johannes. War das der jüngste Apostel? Ha. Das ist zu lange her, wo ich das gelesen habe. Der jüngste Apostel. Paulusbriefe 1 und 2, Römerbrief Kapitel 11. Aha. Hinter dem jüngsten Apostel. Also der jüngste Apostel wäre ja... Boah, der älteste wäre Petrus?
How shall not the ministration of the Spirit not be more glorious?
Ein Satz mit X, das war aber nix.
Paul and Silvanus and Timotheus unto the church of the Thessalonians, which is in God the Father and in the Lord Jesus Christ. Grace be unto you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ.
Nix.
But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes.
Das ist ja wieder genau ein Rätsel für mich, Mensch. Alter Schlappe. Also Johannes war schon auf jeden Fall schon mal richtig. oder? Nächster Apostel.
Dear E, I'm glad you found this note. I was afraid the code of the two groups of pilgrims would mislead you.
Ja, das hat man ja rausgefunden.
You know where, and hide it where no one will find it. It's imperative, awaiting your reply, hidden behind the youngest apostle. What? The youngest apostle? What does Mother mean by that?
Was mit Matthäus? Matthäus ist aber nicht der Jüngste gewesen, oder? Ist das der jüngste Apostel gewesen? Nee. Eigentlich nicht. Puh. So, die 12 Apostel oder die 12 Boten waren ja genannt. Simon, Petrus, Andreas, Jakobs, Johannes. Das sind so einige der bekannten Apostel. Das habe ich jetzt schon mal rausgefunden. Aber sie sagt ja, ich bin erleichtert, dass Sie die Notiz gefunden haben. Ich habe befürchtet, dass Sie den Code der 2 Pilgergruppen in die Irre führen würde. Wollen Sie das Paket, Sie wissen, wo es ist, bla bla bla, verstecken Sie es, wo es niemand finden kann, das ist zwingend notwendig. Ich erwarte Ihre Antwort versteckt in dem jüngsten Apostel. Ja.
Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia.
Verdammte Axt. Gibt's denn irgendwas anderes noch? Oh. In meinen Notizen ist natürlich ja nichts drin, eine Karte. Könntest hier mal bitte zulegen, mein Freund. Das bitte Spirituelle. Dann wären wir schon mal einen Schritt weiter, wenn du mir ein bisschen helfen würdest.
But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes.
So ein Cheat. Johannes ist der Jüngste, ja, das ist richtig. Das ist mir ja auch durchaus bewusst.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.
Was fehlt? Fehlen tut eigentlich nichts. Ich brauche eine Antwort drauf, weil sie schreibt in diesem Brief, da sie jetzt gerade mal noch so geöffnet. Ich erwarte ihre Antwort versteckt hinter dem jüngsten Apostel. Und ich denke mal, weil ja da oben dran steht, folgen Sie den Hinweisen, die die Mutter in der Bibel hinter versteckt hat. Weil hier in dem Raum wird wohl nichts mehr sein, großartig.
There's something else behind this painting. It says, half of each group will join the first city of Corinth. What the hell does that mean? A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Reni. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel. There's something else behind this painting. It says, half of each group will join the first city of Corinth. What the hell does that mean? Volume of the Gutenberg Bible. How shall not the ministration of the Spirit not be more glorious?
Die hier. Du meinst, das soll die Bibel an der Wand darstellen, aber dahinter ist nichts.
There's nothing worth noticing here. Painting of St. Mark from the collection of the Apostles by Guido Reni. It's too cumbersome for me to unhook here, but judging by the dust, it hasn't been moved for months, if not years. There are finger marks, deliberately drawn in the dust. 8 in all.
In dem Staub wurden mit Finger absichtlich Spuren gezogen. 8 insgesamt.
No, nothing of value here.
Okay.
The painting looks like it's been taken down recently. But wasn't my mother said that she would wait for an answer hidden behind the apostle. Ah, of course. There's something written behind the painting. On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add 1 companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean? They should add a companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their ranks. I imagine it applies to their code, the one Mother set up with the pilgrims. What's this? A group of pilgrims who Paul was talking to, and now John is telling them prophecies? It's St. John, painted by Guido Reni.
Der heilige Johannes gemalt von Guido Reni. Mhm.
St. John is the only apostle painted in this gallery who hasn't got a beard. Hey, wait! That means it's him. He's the youngest apostle. Right. This painting is therefore associated with the answer which E had to give to my mother. Now, I just need to know how to recover the answer. It's St. John, painted by Guido Reni.
Mit E. Mit E. Mit E. Mit E.
St. Paul, painted by Guido Reni. St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean? Chest with the occult symbol representing air.
Dann wär's halt das.
Saying with a loud voice, "Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing."
Oder auch nicht. Lego mio.
Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for all have sinned.
Jüngsten Apostel. Ja, in den Bildern habe ich schon was gefunden. Den Buchstaben, also E Aber ich weiß nicht, ob das hier irgendwo in diesen in dieser Bibel mit drin steht oder in der E. Weil in der E finde ich ja nichts. Also das ist auf jeden Fall schon, der Johannes ist es auf jeden Fall, ist der Jüngste, das haben wir jetzt rausgekriegt. Da gibt es aber einmal Johannes die Offenbarung oder Johannes einfach nur. Ich hätte ja vermutet, dass die Offenbarung ist, weil ja der Bart weg ist.
I guess I'll just come back later.
Ja, vielleicht kommst du gar nicht wieder. Vielleicht ist es einfach nur sein und haust ab. Vielleicht geschickt ist er. Weil hier ist wirklich nichts. Das ist echt. Mensch, guck doch wieder hin live, du Badkap.
On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add 1 companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean?
Er ist der 5. Buchstabe. Nimm mal mit dem Versuch 5. Bei Apostellerbriefen, Offenbarung des Johannes. Ich schätze mal, dass du das meinst. Das habe ich halt da stehen, Johannes, Offenbarung von Johannes. Was meinst du? Er ist der 5. Buchstabe. Nimm mal das mit dem Vers 5. Erstmal, also der 5. Buchstabe, also 5. War das hier drin irgendwo? Ne. Ich sehe an der Kapitel 3, Vers 5. Kapitel 5, Vers 12. Kapitel 6. Kapitel 3, Vers 5. Kapitel 3, Vers 5. Zurück.
And ye know that he was manifested to take away our sins, and in him is no sin.
Passiert nichts. Dies war nicht.
Paul and Silvanus and Timotheus unto the church of the Thessalonians, which is in God the Father and in the Lord Jesus Christ. Grace be unto you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia.
Okay, ein Satz mit X, das war immer noch nix. Vielleicht denkst mal deine grauen Zellen ein bisschen an, ja. Evangelium, Apostel. Bei Apostelgeschichte, okay, und dann Kapitel 2, Vers 2.
And suddenly there came a sound from heaven like a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting.
Nein. So, jetzt rennst du nochmal in die Kirche, dann holst du mal die Bibel hervor. So ein Scheiß. Ach.
Dear E, I'm glad you found this note. I was afraid the code of the two groups of pilgrims would mislead you. Pick up the package. You know where, and hide it where no one will find it. It's imperative. Awaiting your reply. Hidden behind the youngest apostle. What? The youngest apostle? What does Mother mean by that?
Toll.
And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in Hebrew, Golgotha. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in Hebrew, Golgotha. I and my Father are one. Now, there is a Jerusalem by the sheep market, a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches.
Dies ist schon ein bisschen...
On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add 1 companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean? On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add 1 companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean? On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add 1 companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean?
Zweiter Tag. 3.
On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add 1 companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean? On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add 1 companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean? But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes.
Okay. Ich glaube, ich muss hier pausieren, weil ich komme gerade hier überhaupt nicht weiter. Es geht mal so weiter, okay.
There's something else behind this painting. It says, half of each group will join the first city of Corinth. What the hell does that mean? hell's behind this painting? It says half of each group.
Da steht, die Hälfte jeder Gruppe wird sich der erste Stadt.
What the hell does that mean? A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Reni. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel. He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. What doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he hath faith, and have not works? Can faith save him? I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine."
Die Prähenbriefe können es ja auch nicht sein. Da die mit dieser Sache ja nichts zu tun haben. Ne. Die Philipps-Briefe können es auch nicht sein, weil Philipps ja der Älteste wäre.
Now, there is a Jerusalem by the sheep market, a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches.
Auf jeden Fall muss es ja mit dem Johannes. Jakobs mit dem Sache ja nichts zu tun. Hey.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine."
You know.
And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in Hebrew, Golgotha. Then came together unto him the Pharisees, and certain of the scribes, which came from Jerusalem. Hereby know that we dwell in him, and he in us, because he hath given us of his Spirit. St. John, painted by Guido Reni. St. John is the only apostle painted in this gallery who hasn't got a beard. On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add one companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean? On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add one companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean? They should add a companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their ranks. I imagine it applies to their code, the one Mother set up with the pilgrims. What's this? A group of pilgrims who Paul was talking to, and now John is telling them prophecies? They should add a companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their ranks. I imagine it applies to their code, the one Mother set up with the pilgrims. What's this? A group of pilgrims who Paul was talking to, and now John is telling them prophecies? This only would I learn of you. Receive ye the Spirit by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith? Paul and Silvanus and Timotheus unto the church of the Thessalonians, which is in God the Father, and in the Lord Jesus Christ. Grace be unto you, and peace, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ.
Das hat man ja auch schon mal, das bringt uns aber nicht weiter.
Now there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria. book is incredibly precious. I believe this is the book my mother referred to when calling upon the Lord. A volume of the Gutenberg Bible.
So, meine lieben Freunde, ich bin auf jeden Fall raus. Ich komme auf den Rätsel leider nicht mehr weiter. Wir machen auf jeden Fall an dieser Stelle beim nächsten Let's Play weiter. Werde mich natürlich davor ja nochmal genauer informieren, aber ich habe jetzt alle Apostels durch und komme auf keinen Nenner. Ich weiß auf jeden Fall, dass das mit dem Johannes zu tun hat, aber wie es dann weitergeht, weiß ich nicht. Ob es Johannes Offenbarung oder Johannes ist.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.
Also, wie gesagt, wir machen auf jeden Fall hier weiter. Beim nächsten Mal. Tut mir leid, ich wollte es eigentlich noch lösen, aber irgendwie stelle ich mich gerade dämlicher an, als ich eigentlich bin. Denke ich mal, zumindestens. Ja. Ich bedanke mich auf jeden Fall fürs Zuschauen, fürs Liken und wir sehen uns beim nächsten Let's Play wieder. Macht's gut, haut rein, bis dann und tschüss, euer Folies Gamer Haus.